Hi, my name's Rasa, and you are watching Legacy Faith Media. Today, we are going to be talking about the impact of a first Christian in the family. If that's you today, we want to encourage you. I know it can be really rough when you are the first Christian in your family. And I'm really excited today because I have my dad here with me, Peter, and I want to just introduce you to him. He made a huge impact in my journey with the Lord, and we're actually going to be talking today about his mom, my Oma. She was the first Christian in our family. You want to say
hi? Yeah,
So,
I'm Peter Croyce. Hi.
So, Dad, why don't you share a little bit about Oma for
Okay.
our audience so that they know a little bit about her, maybe her background a little bit first.
Okay. Well, she was born in Germany back late 1930s. When the war was over, when she was about 12 years old, she came over to the United States when she was about 26 or 28. I don't remember exactly. But she came to Chicago and met my dad there. They actually came over on the same ship, 2 years apart. My dad came over first 2 years earlier.
I didn't know that. That's neat.
That was pretty cool. And so she worked for a doctor and his wife as their nanny. And my dad was a carpenter at a trade show company where they built exhibits. And they got married. And I'm the second of three children. My sister and my brother being the oldest, my sister the youngest. And she was a good woman. She was a Catholic from childhood raised.
How old were you when she got saved?
I think it was my junior year of high school.
Okay. So you were already a little bit older, and you then saw the impact in her life when she had an experience with Jesus Christ. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you remember of her leading up to that point, where she was at, and what kind of led to that transformation in her life?
Okay. I always remember my mom with good memories. She was a good woman. She was faithful to my dad, loving and kind to all his children, and she worked hard. She stayed home. She was a stay-at-home mom, but she worked from morning till night, making us meals all day long, and washing the clothes, doing the dishes, and all the other things around the house, dusting, cleaning, and I mean that's not an easy job. And then when my dad would come home, if there was work to be done around the house, she was right by his side, and he'd be like working on the furnace, for instance, and she would hand him the tools, and she was so good at being aware of what he needed. Yeah. She was, when he needed a hammer, she had it ready in her hand to give to him. Like a surgeon, with the nurse handing the nurse.
That's like Isaac
tool.
With me.
Yeah.
My son.
It's amazing. I remember watching a few times when I was little, and she would tell me some stories about that. But it was, she was a really good woman. But when we got a little bit older, my brother was getting into trouble, and so was I, and my sister too. And my mom just did not know what to do. She cried out to the Lord, and but at one point she started watching TV, some 700 Club, and she listened to the stories of what these people would share about their lives and what happened with them, and so she knew there was something, and God worked in people's lives, and I think she knew that before, but there was just something missing in her relationship with God. She had a bad, difficult time for a while, and she was, seeking God, and she went to the church to, go for help, because that's where you did. You went to the priest.
Yeah.
Knocked on the door, nobody answered, and then she went back to the car and she wept, for a couple hours, and came back home. And
I think you had mentioned with me when we talked about this a little bit that she was just feeling hopeless.
Yeah, hopeless, depressed. I could see, in her countenance that she was feeling lost, and it was sad and hard to see. As her child, you want your parents to be happy, and I think that was the low point. And then she met this other lady in the neighborhood who was also a Christian. This lady's name was Martha. She was such a blessing to my mom. That was her first Christian friend that she had that was able to, share with her on a one-on-one basis their relationship she had with the Lord. And my mom really was blessed by that. And so she was getting more into the Word, and she was discovering things about the Lord that she never knew, because as a Catholic, you don't tend to read, the Bible a lot, but when you do, you find all these promises, and what God says, He will do. If you do this, I'll do this, especially like in the Proverbs and in the Psalms, and all throughout the whole Old Testament and New Testament.
So she was starting to get excited about what God was revealing to her through the Scriptures, through His Word, and so for you were seeing her start to read the Bible, start to come alive, and then you had mentioned that she was watching 700 Club, and I think that Aunt Anita was telling me the other day that that's actually how she came to know the Lord. She called a number on the screen when
they led her to the Lord,
Yeah, and so that's really neat. I didn't know that before. I thought that Martha, her friend, had told her about the Lord and witnessed her in that way. And so that's neat. So she
the other thing I think that really had a big impact on me was my mom going from deep depression and sadness and hopelessness to attitude of hope and knowing God's promise, and being confident in that, and confident in when she prayed that God would answer her prayer. Because not because of what she's done, but because of what Jesus had done and what Jesus said He would do. And what it said in the Old Testament, God said He would do for His children.
She had hope, like you said, and she saw that God still moves in people's lives, and you were witnessing that, firsthand with her as your mom. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how that her coming to know Christ and seeing this change in her, how did that impact Opa, or her husband?
Well, he was watching her. He didn't know what to make of it. I think at first he didn't like it because it was something different, and he was people tend to be afraid of what they don't understand and what they don't know. But he was just watching to see how she was, if it was just like a temporary thing or whatever. And it was a little while, but he saw it was consistent, and he saw the peace and the joy and the happiness in her life and the hope that she had, and he wanted that too. So at one point she led him to the Lord. Yeah. That was cool.
That's so neat to me because, remembering Opa and, his personality, I just find that, it had to be God moving in his heart and his life, because he is, always the person that has the right way, the right answers. He's very particular about how something should be done. He's very, logical-minded, and it must be done this way because this is the best way. And, the hard part for everybody in the family is, we know it probably is the best way if that's the way Opa does it, but we're just let us do it the wrong way. We like doing it this way. But but it's so neat that, he was no, this is the Lord. And I don't know, I think back about it, I just think it's amazing that Oma led him to the Lord in that way. And tell us about the impact that it had on you as her kid, because you were already a teenager, you've already grown up. You said that you were even, confirmed when we talked about it in the Catholic Church, and so, tell us the impact that had on you.
For me, I knew from when I was young that there was a God, and I heard the Bible stories, and I recognized that as truth, and I understood that, but I didn't have that relationship, and I didn't have the hope that, like I said with my mom, that I was a Christian. My mom, watching her, made me realize there can be a change in your life, and even though I was still struggling and hopeless. Because when you're a teenager, you're not only going through physical changes, but you're also starting to separate from your parents. And I felt like I didn't have many more years left if something didn't change. I had no hope. It was one of those things where I was lost, and I knew I was lost, but I didn't fully understand because I didn't have a reference. But now that my mom was born again, and seeing her life and seeing, yes, this is a way. I knew that. But as being a rebel, we're all born as rebels. We tend to kind of resist that path somewhat, and continuing to watch her, but then also God working in my life, through other people. And I went to an Awana thing. The bus came by, picked us all up from the neighborhood, and I got led to the Lord through that.
So they shared the gospel, but there was like no discipleship to follow it up right away.
Yeah.
Which is great that they shared the gospel with you.
Yes.
And that's amazing. It was one of the things that impacted you.
But the Holy Spirit started working. Well, I shouldn't say start. I'm aware of, looking back in time over my life, that God was working in my life all the time. I was just too dumb to realize it, I guess.
And so I love your testimony, and we're going to share it in a different video. So check that one out. We're not going to go too deep into your testimony because we really just wanted to encourage first Christians in their situations, because it can be very discouraging when you are like, you feel like you're the only one. What impact can I have? Nobody's listening to me. And we had talked the other day about how Oma, she really wanted her siblings and her parents to come to know the Lord, and she tried sharing the gospel with them, which can be difficult when people, I don't know, not everybody's always receptive to that, horizontally. But, your siblings and people that you already grew up with and know. And Oma, she passed away when I was pretty young. But I still, I really remember her vividly as, the powerful Christian in the family. And especially since she was the first one to get saved. And a lot of people looked up to her because of that. And she had an impact on future generations that she never got to see, although she is seeing now. But in her lifetime, she couldn't have known the things that the Lord was going to do in our family. What would you share with a first Christian in a family who's feeling discouraged? How would you encourage them right now as they are struggling through that?
Yeah. So there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but keep in mind and stay on focus on your relationship with Jesus, with the Father. Stay in the Word, because out of the Word you will get the wisdom of God, what to do, and be sensitive to the leading of the Holy Spirit too. I'd spend a little time with the Lord. I'd ask Him about things, and then I'd let Him know what's going on. And it's important to do that too, because even though a parent sees what's going on with their children, there needs to be that relationship, that communication back and forth, and we need to tell them what's going on in their lives, and then ask them to help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. As a child, as a parent for help, even when you start a job somewhere and you start doing things, you don't know all the answers. You don't have all the right way to do things. You need to talk to other people that have been there and have done that, and grow out of what you learn from these other people. Watch them. That's one of the things that helped me a lot too. My mom, many times, would say, "Well, did you pray about it?" And I'd feel like an idiot, and then I'd be like, "No, I didn't."
Yeah, whenever you would be struggling with something and complaining about it, Peter, did you pray about it?
Yeah. But you know what? Then I'd go and I'd pray, and then I'd tell the Lord, "Okay, I tried, and I was not getting this, or what, And then when I said, I'm going to go get into it again, but I need your help, Lord." And that the Lord loves that, and
so that's how
He will open the eyes of your understanding. He will, things you didn't understand will just come to you so easily. It's crazy. It's awesome.
So that's your
So awesome.
word of encouragement to First Christians and their family is just keeping that relationship with the Lord strong. And then
Yes,
you
that's
saw that.
your main thing.
And your
Out of
mom,
that will come all your answers, and other people will see that too, because they'll, what are you so happy about? All these things are happening. Well, I have peace because God's doing it with me. He's by my side. And that they will, they may laugh at you or criticize or whatever, but
you're the first person that they come to prayer for.
Yes.
If
because
really
they see it.
Yeah.
It's true. It's when something's true. And people will see that too. If, they may make fun of those things, but when the rubber meets the road and they're going through some hard stuff and they're looking for help, they'll go where they know they can get the help.
Well, we just want to thank you so much for joining us. Again, this was very special having my dad here to share some of his life and testimony and how his mom became the first Christian in our family. So if you liked this video and you found it encouraging, please hit the like button below. My finger is going the wrong way because I've got a mirror image. Please hit the like button below and consider subscribing to our channel. We would love to continue to encourage you as you seek to leave a legacy of faith to your children. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.